morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a very special day to my grade 10 titanium students, the class debate 2018. So let us all stand for the opening prayer.
I'm so blessed, my Lord, I can see you in all the lovely things so fine and true. I see you in the beauty of the flowers and the rain. I see you between the lines of a sweet refrain. I'm so blessed, my Lord, I can see you. The stars at night, I see you in my life, I feel alright. I see you, Lord, in sorrow and in happiness. I see you in the glory of sweet success. I see you, Lord, every hour, every day. I can see you, Lord, whenever I pray. I'm so blessed, my Lord, I can see you in the smile of a baby, sweet and true. I can see you in the eyes of my very best friends. I see you in these bonds, just like your love that never ends. I see you, Lord, in sorrow and in happiness. I see you in the glory of sweet success. I see you, Lord, every hour, every day. I can see you, Lord, whenever I pray. I see you, Lord, in sorrow and in happiness. I see you with the glory of sweet success. I see you, Lord, every hour, every day. I can see you, Lord, whenever I pray. I pray. I can see you, Lord, whenever I pray. I see you, Lord.
In our previous discussion in the reproductive system, we talked about the parts and the function of the both male and female reproductive system. Aside from it, we also talked about the contraceptives. And one of the contraceptives is condom. The question is, what is condom? A condom is a sheath-shaped barrier device used during sexual intercourse to reduce the probability of pregnancy or a sexually transmitted infection. It prevents sperm from entering the cervix. The distribution of condom in the DepEd family is one of the health issues in the Philippines. And today, we are going to talk and to have a debate on this particular matter. So without much further ado, I would like to present to you this morning's Debate 2018, the motion. Are you in favor of condom distribution among the high school students? But before that, let's have the house rules. Number 1, minimize the noise, and this includes the clapping of hands after each speaker has spoken. Number 2, each speaker shall be given a minimum of 2 minutes to give their points. And number 3, the flow of the speaker starts from the first speaker proposition, followed by the second speaker proposition. Next, step number 2 would be the second speaker proposition, followed by the second speaker opposition. Third set, the third speaker proposition, followed by the third speaker opposition. Fourth set, the fourth speaker proposition, followed by the fourth speaker opposition. Fifth set, the fifth speaker proposition, followed by the fifth speaker opposition. Then the sixth speaker coming from the proposition and opposition will give their summary arguments or the final speech. Good luck, everyone. May I now introduce to you the moderator in today's debate, Angel Alferez. Let's give her a big round of applause, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Class Debate 2018. This is Angel Alferez, your debate moderator. Here are the speakers. On my right corner, the proposition group, Prince Lloyd Saki, Francis Siam Limpao, Daryl Ayana Bangan, Marcelo Vallejo, Angela Basomo, and Zalonquil Anthony Pacoto. And on my left corner, the opposition group, Leandro Janostero, Charence Maghanoy, Rhea Jean Gonzalez, Jan Coben Mirafantes, Marian De Vera, and Maria Eloisa Danica Paulina. Thank you, speakers. You may now take your seats. Here are the criteria for judging. Organization and clarity, 30%. Use of arguments, 25%. Use of examples and facts, 15%. And presentation style, 20%, for a total of 100%. This time, I would like to introduce to you our distinguished judges. Our first judge is a head teacher in science, an active and a competitive one. Please clap our hands to Mrs. Jocelyn Bio Campos. Thank you, ma'am. The second judge, he is a master teacher in English, an inspiring and energetic teacher. Please help me welcome Mr. Janesha Opay Ingito. Junior. Thank you, sir. She is a teacher of faith, teacher in English, a supportive and a loving teacher. A round of applause, please, to Mrs. Janice B. Gabica. Thank you, ma'am. The last but not the least, she is also a teacher of faith, also teacher in English, an understanding and a loving teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Cherry May G. Palma. Let us hear now the opinions of both sides, the proposition and the opposition. The first speaker from the proposition group, Prince Lloyd Saki.
To the Board of Judges, fellow students and delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Before I start, let me ask you a question. Will condoms in public schools reduce sexually transmitted diseases? For me, it's a yes. Distributing condoms in public schools will reduce the spread of STDs. Condoms are an effective means of combating the spread of sexually transmitted diseases. On this premise, it stands to reason that the distribution in schools and use will reduce the spread of sexually transmitted diseases among students. Male condoms are one of the most popular methods of birth control. They're common, convenient, and could easily be bought in most convenience stores, supermarkets, and pharmacies. Some health clinics, even in bars, give them for free. In big cities, you could even see them in vending machines. Condoms prevent pregnancy by physically containing semen. During intercourse, they block sperm from entering the vagina. Condoms are the only form of birth control that can help protect you from sexually transmitted diseases or infections such as HIV/AIDS. According to what I've read, condoms has a failure rate of 14 to 15%. So meaning 14 to 15 people out of 100 will get pregnant during the first year of use. Condoms are an effective way to lower pregnancy rates. As such, if these things would be distributed in schools in our community, it would result in lowering teenage pregnancy and would help to prevent the spreading of sexually transmitted diseases. So, I therefore conclude that giving each student condoms is a good way in slowing the amount of population that is increased day by day. Thank you.
Thank you, Prince. The first speaker from the opposition group, Leandro Janice.
First of all, I would like to say good morning. Distributing condoms in public schools will reduce the spread of STDs. Yes, condoms are an effective means of combating the spread of sexually transmitted diseases. Yes, on this premise, it stands to reason that during schools unusually reduce the spread of sexually transmitted diseases among students. But providing students with condoms encourage many students for early sexual activity. If young people believe they will be safe when using condoms, they are much less likely to be deterred from engaging in sexual intercourse. And condoms can cause rashes and infections. Aside from being risky, it will also deliver the wrong message to that they will be safe from the AIDS virus with the use of condom. It is not safe because virus can pass through even the smallest hole in the condom. Moreover, overall sexual activity increases as a result of encouraging safer sex. The number of people occasionally engaging in risky behavior will increase. Widespread condom distribution will establish sexual activity, creating peer pressure to participate in sex. The added temptation to engage in sexual activity that is protected will result in more women having sex at a younger age, perhaps favoring their exploitation. To make shorter, condom distribution will encourage sexual activity and other risky behavior. Thank you.
Thank you, Leandre. The second set, Prince Isham Limpao.
Rub it with foil before you check her oil. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. School is a place for emotional as well as academic learning. The school should take steps to open up the conversation about sexual health to ensure that the students are equipped with the knowledge and means to practice lifelong skills such as safe sex and making healthy decisions. I'm in favor of distribution of condoms to high school students as part of the effort to stop the spread of HIV/AIDS and teenage pregnancy among the Filipino youth. According to Father Cancino of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, a majority of those affected is our youth. So this is the future, and we are the future of our country because we are the new generation of today's tomorrow. This doesn't mean to encourage students to engage themselves in sexual activities, but serves as a reminder that protection is more important. Children and teens in this generation has a big changes from the past year as they are influenced by the technology. We can't deny that every students nowadays have already engaged in sexual intercourse. I think some are missing the point. Our DOH proposed to give out condoms to high school students, but it doesn't mean that they are tolerating the sex in our society. The point is, they just want to avoid the STDs that continuously spreading through sex intercourse, and also, they just want to minimize or to control the number of population in our nice society that continuously growing rapidly. The government would not distribute condoms just like giving candies. It is a process for the students to understand and be disciplined. Remember, pregnancy and disease, not abstinence, are the consequences of such embarrassment. Thank you.
Thank you, Prince. The second speaker from the opposition group, Sharon Smartan.
The fact of distributing condoms to students actually encourages them to do such sexual activity. If young people believe about the effectiveness in using condom, they are much likely to be deterred from engaging in dangerous and immoral behavior. So, this time, I want us to reflect much on the disadvantages of condoms in schools, because these are more than the advantages. Quite well, the idea of distributing condoms to students as a means of preventing unwanted pregnancies and sexually transmitted diseases may seem effective and okay from the surface, but If you happen to go deeper in analyzing the system and considering the checks and balances, then you can discover the evil behind the whole system. If we understand well the purpose of condoms, I am certain that condoms can never end up in the wrong hands. Condoms are contraceptives, yes, and they're meant to prevent unwanted pregnancies. Now, the evil behind the condom is this. It entices students to easily engage in protected sex and then consequently end up in unprotected sex. In simple terms, they do not fear sex. So, I conclude that distributing condoms will only condone sexual activity among students. Thank you.
Thank you, Charence. The third set from the proposition group, Daryl Ayanabangan.
Sex feels better when you know you're safer. Good morning, everyone. Before I start, let me ask you a question. Will condom distribution make students more sexually responsible? For me, it's a yes. Providing access to birth controls empowers women with more control over their bodies. Historically, women have often suffered more because of restrictive policies related to reproduction. Condoms are effective against STDs. Condoms are the only methods of birth control that also help prevent the spread of sexually transmitted infections, including HIV. Even if you're already using a different kind of birth control to avoid pregnancy, it's a good idea to also use condoms every time you have sex to protect yourself from STDs. Condoms can add extra protection to almost all other birth control methods, like the pill, IUD, and other diseases. Condoms also reduce the transmission of papillomavirus. Condoms help prevent the transmission of sexually transmitted infections by reducing the likelihood of partner exposure to genital contact or fluid secretion. They do not prevent exposure. Condom distribution encourages the responsibility of men. It can also establish condom use as the norm, not something that women continually have negotiated, often from a position weakness. Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl. The third speaker from the opposition group, Rhea Jen Gonzalez. A school is a place of education, not a place of condom distribution. A pleasant morning to all of you. I strongly oppose the idea that schools should distribute condoms due to the fact that the school is a place to learn. The mere role of the school is develop and mold students and guide them to have a better future. It is very unnecessary for a school to distribute condoms because if they did, isn't it we are only giving the students an idea of sex, or is it we are only encouraging them to have sex? In addition to, if the government mandated schools to distribute condoms, probably society may have an impression that the government do not trust schools in terms of learning. Father Jerome Siciliano, Executive Secretary of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines Permanent Committee on Public Affairs, released an official statement saying the government should focus on educating the people more and not by allowing the high school students to take free condoms. He also said, we need to address the rising number of HIV cases in the country, but the government should invest more in educating people about the perils of the sporadic sexual activity than procuring and distributing condoms. Religion is against premarital sex, as well as the distribution of condoms. First question, can condoms be distributed without upsetting religious doctrine? Definitely no. Condoms for students can offend people from different religions. Catholics and followers of other religions who do not believe in birth control, and Orthodox practitioners of a number of the world's religions find the apparent engagement of sexual activity an affront to the religious traditions. Religious considerations are not irrelevant. Various religions are members of society, and these citizens have a right to voice their views about condom distribution or machines in their schools. Schools are not the place for condom machines, just as schools are not the place for cigarette machines or alcohol bars. Many high school students also have a problem with drinking and smoking, but that does not mean schools should distribute filtered cigarettes or have a designated driver program. Certain activities such as drinking and smoking are legally appropriate for adults. Sexual activity also at least be recognized as an activity best reserved for mature adults. I believe that the project of the health agency is not the best solution on stopping the HIV or AIDS cases. Proper education about responsible sex is what the youth needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhea. And now, the fourth speaker from the proposition group, Marceli Vallejo.
Sex that is unguarded brings trouble, but sex that is guarded takes danger to safety. Good morning to each and every one of us. The issue about wherever the predicament being recognized due to the different sides of disagree in each family of Filipinos, or also schools from the different region of the Philippines, or in the health education programs. Let us all observe our surroundings. Our country that is debating on controversy of suggestion about condoms that is promoted as a solution to the unwanted teenage pregnancies and the spread of the sexually transmitted diseases. According to the data given in www.manilatimes.net, said that from 1984 to October 2016, about 10,279 of the total number of 38,114 HIV or AIDS cases were in the 15 to 24 years old range. Among 15 to 24-year-old, there were 10,279 HIV cases during the period of which 9,066 were tallied during the last 5 years or from 2011 to 2016, prompting the government to tag it a youth epidemic. I believe on what the Catholic priest says, but also I believe on what the leading of HIV or AIDS doctors in the US and other advanced countries who advocate the use of condoms as an effective means to prevent the spread of HIV or AIDS. It is already being permitted in the other countries about the distribution of condoms. Let us all be realistic. We all know few or more or less teenagers in the Philippines already increased in number of having sexually transmitted diseases. And the fact in the Philippines, the number of having teenage pregnancies among girls under 15 years of age has climbed over the past decade. The youngest one was on 12 years of age, according to the National Statistics Office. The World Health Organization says young mothers are more vulnerable to maternal deaths and other pregnancy complications. World Health Organization warned about children bearing children. The increasing of male testosterone levels correspond to sexual activity that engages the sexual relations to another gender. This is a time where temptations block the student's succession. Whether you agree or deny the fact, we are all engaging to the children nowadays are having their own decisions and rights. When teenagers are going to have sex, no matter what we moral them, we will never know what will happen or they might do it as well. And instead of denying the truth, what about giving them the option in having safe sex? Using protection in having sex is the point. Everyone has sex. It is a human nature, the circle of life. However, some do have sex younger than others. Whether they are having sex is a matter of opinion, as there is no age limit on buying condoms in the pharmacies, but some still don't want to buy one because of embarrassment, so they'll do it without protection. Personally, it is about promoting safe sex, protecting the younger generation by providing sexual education courses and free condoms if a student asks one. Don't ask why. Tell them the education of responsibility and consequences about doing it. Giving them one to be in a safer zone, or not giving them that may cause their life in danger. Thank you.
Thank you, Marceli. The fourth speaker from the opposition group, John Coben Mirafantes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the resolution is argue in favor of the distribution of condoms in high school students. We, on the opposition team, strongly disapprove this resolution. My point, did the Department of Education or DepEd agree in giving condoms to students? Based on facts, we have published last February 7, 2017, that the distribution of condoms in high schools will no longer be pursued after DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones announced that DepEd would not support the DOH initiative on the distribution of condoms. And also, she stated that DepEd reached the decision after the legal team analyzed the Supreme Court ruling on reproductive health or RH law and President Duterte's executive order on RH program. Even the Department of Education doesn't want to implement giving condoms to the students. So, why should we be against DepEd when they're so right in the first place? And besides, this kind of thing is also better for the youth. Serious responsibility. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Coben. The fifth set and the fifth speaker from the proposition group, Angela Balsamo.
Regrets come last. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. From 1984 to 2016, the total number of reported HIV/AIDS cases is 38,114, as cited by Ray Takumi from KG-GMA News. So based on this evidence, what are we to do? Wait for humanity to change? Well, that has not been doing us any good now, has it? The distribution of condoms is not to promote sex, but to lessen HIV/AIDS if one chooses to have sex. It also encourages, as my colleague Daryl said earlier, the responsibility of men and increases choices for women. The distribution of condoms comes with proper sex education and sex practices to inform students of the effects and consequences of their will-be actions. Likewise, participation to these classes or sessions, as well as the distribution of condoms, will be done with the parents' permission. The parents will have the right to refuse. In other countries, this kind of practice has already been done, and the percentage of sexual activity has not risen, but the percentage of sexually transmitted infection decreases. Consider this practice as a last resort to when one can no longer delay their sexual libido, to protect them against the spread of genital diseases. According to debate.org, many students, at least 70%, will have sex at some point within their high school careers. This is how worse our society has become and will continue to get worse. Ladies and gentlemen, the guidance of children lies in the hands of their parents. Good and healthy decisioning lies on their children. Lessening the bad effects of bad decisioning is the role of this campaign. So based on those facts, ladies and gentlemen, I therefore encourage the distribution of condoms to high school students. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. The fifth speaker from the opposition group, Marian De Vera.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to share my opinions about the said resolution and my reasons why I'm opposed to the idea of it. It is inappropriate for schools to supply condoms to high school students because school is a place to learn and they are supposed to develop the minds of the students and guide them to have a better future and make right decisions. Students should only focus on their studies because that is what they were supposed to do to be more prepared in their later life. If they do distribute condoms to students, aren't they giving them ideas about sex? Students are still minors to be involved in this kind of activity, but it does not mean that they have to because they can now guarantee that it's safe, but they'd only be more curious about it. And curiosity did kill the cat. Yes, it is true that we can prevent STDs or unwanted pregnancies with contraceptives, but there is another way, and that is to not participate in any sexual activities.
If they got an STD or an unwanted pregnancy because they didn't have access to contraceptives, then it is their own fault because they fully well know what the consequences of their actions will be. And it's not the school's responsibility because they did not teach or tell students to do so. One mistake and it can change your whole life forever. So I say you should only participate in sexual activities at the right age in the right time when you can make sure that you can handle a huge responsibility. As what the former Chief Justice Hilario Davide said, it will only destroy the spiritual, moral, and ethical values of school children. Giving out free condoms is encouraging students to have sex. And according to novelist Bishop Emeritus Theodore Bacani Jr., that it is a wrong tactic because it would encourage the youth to engage in premarital or extramarital sex. Father Anton Pascual, a chief operating officer of Radio Veritas, once stated that sex is sacred and must be shared only by responsible couples, and that we should be faithful to our partners and value love and sacredness of sex as a gift of God in marriage. As a youth, it is very important to keep your purity until marriage. I'm not just against to giving condoms for high school students, but also to premarital sex. Because this is the Philippines and most of us are Christians. And if we set religion aside, then we will have to pay more in our taxes to fund such program, and it's a waste of money for taxpayers since there are a lot of sources where we can get this. Before students get engaged in this, they should consult their parents first because they deserve to know anything that could happen to their children. Do our parents even agree to this? Probably not, because they fear that it will only push their children to engage in any sexual activities before they are ready. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Marian. And now, the last but not the least said, the sixth speaker from the proposition group,
Zalankiel Anthony Bacoto.
Safe sex is best sex. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A condom is a type of contraceptive made out of latex or animal skin. Of all contraceptives, this has the most benefits. They can prevent pregnancies and help protect the wearer from STDs. They can be bought in every pharmacy at a cheap price. They are also easy to use and can fit inside your wallet or your pockets. Condoms can help lessen or even stop the spreading of STDs, especially HIV/AIDS. Ladies and gentlemen, according to PhilStar, the Philippines has the fastest growing HIV epidemic in the entire Asian Pacific. Condoms and other contraceptives would also help lessen the growth rate in the Philippines. According to the United Nations, yes, you heard it right, the United Nations, their estimates show that the Philippines have already reached 108 million citizens with a yearly growth rate of 1.5 million. And the number one reason why we reached this number is because of teenage pregnancy. We all know for a fact that most high schoolers are already in a relationship. And when the things spice up, you can never stop the chemical reactions inside your brain. If condoms were used, when they are safe from STDs and pregnancies. But since we're not allowing the distribution of condoms to high school students, then there is trouble. Even if you won't ejaculate inside, it would still be dangerous because of pre-ejaculate, which is a clear, colorless, and viscous fluid that is emitted from the urethra of the penis during sexual arousal. Us men don't even realize that we pre-ejaculate, and there is a chance that we can impregnate women. And based on our experiences, we also don't have sex ed in high school, meaning those students are in trouble. Even if sex ed is applied in high school, it is not enough. It is never enough, because knowledge of such things cannot stop temptation. Condom distribution does not necessarily mean that we support premarital sex. Rather, it is an item needed to prevent pregnancies and STDs during premarital sex. Combined with proper sex education, the birth rates and the spreading of HIV/AIDS would decrease. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we propose condom distribution.
Thank you, Zawan. The sixth speaker from the opposition group, Maria Eloisa Danica Paulino.
Ladies and gentlemen, the proposition team is concerned about the increasing rate of STD cases and unwanted pregnancies. Yes, the statistics are frightening. According to the survey done by the University of the Philippines Population Institute as of 2013, displays that 1 out of 3 Filipino youths in the age of 15 to 24 had premarital sex, and that in this age bracket, 78% had premarital sex for the first time and did not use any protection. In connection with that is the rise of HIV cases in the same age group, and as well as the rise in teenage pregnancy reported from 2014 to 2016. But is distributing condoms to high school students the best solution to solve HIV, STD, and teenage pregnancy cases? I think not. But we in the opposition team do believe that there is a need to distribute condoms, but it is a big no in schools. Why? First, we can't just ignore the disadvantages of condoms. Condoms can cause rashes and infection. Second, according to debate.org, it will affect some students and their respective families who have a great faith, especially those of the Catholic faith and from other religions who do not support contraceptives. Aren't we interfering in their fundamental religious beliefs by giving them access to condoms and encouraging their use? Third, it will encourage students to perform on sexual intercourse anytime they feel like doing it. If the goal of the school is to prevent students to be engaged in sexual activity, then why would it give students condoms that they can use as contraception during intercourse? Then, it will mean that the school will fail to do what they have to teach to the student. Lastly, schools can provide information about contraceptions and how to have a safer sex. Yes, that is true. But why do we have to distribute condoms in the school when we have places that sell condoms, like pharmacies? Then what about other people who cannot afford to buy it? Well, we know for the fact that condoms are cheap. It is approximately 25 pesos for 3 sachets. My point here is that if we really want to distribute condoms, then it should be in health centers, where someone who needs it can have it for free. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, there is no quick solution to solve our problem regarding HIV and teenage pregnancy among the youth. But we should start quickly on the path toward the right solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Danica. Thank you, speakers. As we have heard, the speakers have shown their points, and now we'll leave it to the judges for rating.
I can't deny that most of the students nowadays are already engaged with sexual activity. And the government were initiating a solution to prevent teenage pregnancy and the spreading of HIV and AIDS among the youth. It doesn't mean that you should engage on teenage pregnancy after receiving condoms. It is just for emergency. And the government will not distribute condoms just like giving candies. It has a process for the students to understand and to be disciplined. For those who oppose, did you ever think of a better solution to solve this? Well, I don't think so. The main purpose of this was to save more lives and to preserve the morality of the young ones. That would be all. Thank you.
Big hand for Hermie, please.
Good day, everyone. As a student, I'm not in favor of condom distribution among high school students because aside from we are still minors, the students may think that it is okay to have sex because it only means that they're encouraging his or her to have sex. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that idea. Celestine.
So, good morning everyone and good morning to our board of judges. Well, condoms are most common prevention of unwanted pregnancies, and condoms should be offered to as high school student because I do believe that every student engaging sex intercourse. And also, condoms isn't that bad to be distributed because it doesn't mean to tolerate the sex in our society, but it helps the STDs that's spreading in our society. And then condoms also help minimizing and controlling the increased number of population in our society that continuously growing rapidly. Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste. Big hand for her, please. Class? Yes, Kayi.
So I strongly oppose to the idea that schools should distribute condoms. Schools teach against underage sexual activity, but by giving out condoms to schools, that would just be supporting it. But the truth is, if condom distribution among high school students would be implemented, students will go on and have sex no matter how strict the supervision is, and now that they have condoms with them. So it is therefore an illusion to assume that sex on campus won't happen if students are encouraged to have condoms. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Kayi. A big hand for her, please. Point taken. Thank you for that wonderful insights.
Debaters, both oppositions and propositions. I'm so happy that you have come up with good ideas, brilliant ideas about our motion, about distribution of condoms to high school students. Okay, I'm so impressed that most of you have spoken a lot. You have your good points, okay, to give to this audience, for us also to have our opinions on whether we are going to agree or disagree with your ideas, okay? But I would like to give some points of ideas that you need to think today. The does not say the distribution will take place at school. Okay? It will distribute to high school students, but not at school. It's not specified there. Okay? So do not talk about so much about our school is not a place for distribution for condoms, it is a place for learning. It will not hit the point. Okay? It's only stated there that the people who will receive or are recipient of condom distributions are high school students. But it can be distributed in health centers, in hospitals, maybe at home, or pharmacy, okay? Wherever. But your points, both propositions and oppositions, are very brilliant, are very good. Even I myself was quite confused as to whether I will agree with the positive side or the affirmative side or the negative side. Okay? But I will let you know that who will win today will not matter on whether you are opposition or proposition. Whether you will say yes or no, whether you're affirmative or negative. Okay? But who will win today are the people, okay, or the team who gives the ideas that most of these audiences will most agree with, okay? But before we are we going to proclaim the winners now? Yes. Today? Before we proclaim the winners, I would say, don't worry about winning or losing, okay? Because I know even the proposition learn from the oppositions, and even the opposition learn from the propositions. So we just need to resolve later. We are not the right person to give the final say for this motion, because it's just a debate. Okay, we're just giving the idea for people to
agree or disagree, and for our right persons, people in the Senate and in the Congress, to finally say about the motion, if ever this will be realized or not. Okay. Before I go back to my seat, I would like to say thank you so much for your very nice ideas, great ideas, and of course for your very nice mouths. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anguito. Our head teacher in science, Ms. Ocampos, master teacher in English, Mr. Ongiro, teacher 3 in English, Mrs. Palma, and teacher 3 in another teacher 3 in English, Mrs. Gabika, to please do the honor in giving the certificate of recognition to the best speaker, both from the proposition and opposition, and best group.
Congratulations, everybody. Whatever is the result, though you belong to the proposition or the opposition, it might not be the reality kung mayroon mo nga proposition mo, bitaon o opposition, but it's up for you to accept the reality. Now here, because of the close fight of the two groups, actually we had we find difficulty in proclaiming the winner, pero by points, so nakuha na yun ang winner, the correct winner. Now this morning we're going to proclaim first the best speaker of each group. For the proposition group, the best speaker is no other than our cute speaker, Mr. Zilonkil Bakoto. Congratulations. Regional winner also. So no question he was or is our best speaker this morning. Now for the opposition group, so we have here the 6 competitors. So for the opposition group, our best speaker is no other than the best speaker teacher, Rhea Jane Gonzalo. Congratulations. This is for delegates. Now, the most awaited one. The winner of this debate 2018. Gamay na differential points. A matter of 2 points. The first group got the score, the total of 85.25, and the second one is 85.75. The difference of 0.5. The 0.50. Half na is a point. Sige lang, ano na. In every competition, there is a winner and there is a loser. So congratulations to the winner and better luck next time, the loser. And the winner is the group coming from the opposition group.
become a target for those who oppose adolescent sexual activity advertisements, who would like to restrict adolescents' access to information and services. There are some those who would say the use of condom will endanger the students' experiment to sex. There are some saying it is a way to declench curiosity of sex. Whatever your stand, whatever our stand, we should always remember to preserve the sanctity of human dignity and of human life, especially the youth of today. Thank you for listening, and God bless everyone.